Do you like space westerns? 'Cause I like space westerns. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. Today I will be inking a comic book cover and talking to you about my love of space westerns. So grab your pencil, pen, stylus, or whatever you have, and let's draw. Or just kick back and watch and listen. So, if you couldn't tell, I've been really into space westerns lately. I have been reading the Vampire Hunter D novels, and they're really good. Really enjoying them. There's 56 in the series, I believe. Probably should have done my research on that. Anywho, you might be wondering what exactly is a space western? What is this cover I'm working on? We'll get to that. First, I'm gonna define a space western. Google tells me that it is a subgenre of science fiction that blends the themes and tropes of westerns, like the American frontier and lawless territories, with a futuristic, spacefaring setting. So some examples of a space western are Firefly, Star Wars, and like I mentioned, Vampire Hunter D. I consider that a space western. So what am I working on? I am doing a cover for the next installment of Faster Than Light, which is a sci-fi anthology about family. And I was kind of just given free reign of what to do for the cover. So I was like, well, I'm currently obsessed with space westerns. So I am going to draw this adopted cowboy dad figure protecting some little Martian children. But yeah, I thought that would be pretty cool. So I've been really enjoying working on this, and it's coming together quite nicely. Now, as far as inking goes, I would say I am most comfortable inking. That's probably my favorite part of the comic process. But let me give you some tips. I think it's really, well, depending on your style, I know that I like to see line weight variation. Again, it's gonna depend. If you're doing kind of a more simple look, or you're doing, maybe something more, in manga, you do see line weight variation, but I think most of the lines are very thin. Again, depending on the artist. American cartoons, I think I see a little more line weight variation. Like, you see, thicker lines in Western comics, I think. So, I like to see line weight variation. I think it helps to kind of separate figures. It helps, just guides the eye, and it gives more variety to look at. So I would say, if your style's anything like mine, you might benefit from some line weight variation. The other thing I'd recommend before inking is making sure you have a good framework. So make sure your sketch came out good. Get good. That's what I'm telling you to do. Get good. No, but I guess what I'm trying to say with that is make sure your proportions are accurate, right? Make sure your composition looks good. I could give a tutorial on those things. I don't think this video is about that exactly. You can see I have a pretty detailed sketch and color composition underneath this before I even started inking. I actually do not normally do that. Normally, color, I don't even think too much about until, like, I've already done the inks. But I think it actually was kind of helpful to do a color composition for this one because it did kind of inform the ink a little bit. Anywho, having a good framework, I think it's just really important that your sketch is meant to guide you. It's not necessarily supposed to be insanely detailed, but your level of detail is going to depend on what you need, right? When you are inking, what do you need? And for me, that looks like proportion and composition mostly. And then sometimes establishing extreme shadows, or like where I might need to put just like solid black. So like in the foreground of this image, there is some solid black, you know, just making sure that there's a good balance. So again, have a sketch that is going to guide you and inform your inks, not overwhelm. And I think a common thing, when I say overwhelm, I just mean like, I think it's a common thing when people have a really detailed sketch and then they ink it and it looks like ass when they ink it. I think it's really important to not put too much detail in your sketch and do more of your thinking as you are inking. That rhymed a little bit. Didn't mean to do that. The other advice I would give for people inking is using textured brushes. We live in an age where there's so many beautiful brushes. I mean, even these days, I feel like some of the pre-installed brushes in a lot of these programs there's some decent ones in there. Like, even if you don't download anything, there's some decent brushes. And you can adjust your own brushes, you can make your own brushes. Like, there's just no excuse for, I don't know, I guess just like using a brush that's not exciting, that's not gonna give you like the results you want, because it's out there. So don't just use basic, like hard round. If your style's like really graphic, I'm sure that might be fine, but yeah, for my purposes and kind of a traditional, little more like Western style comic, I like a brush that feels really inky, like it feels like real ink. I'm into that, so that's kind of what I'm using here. One other thing, kind of back to my second point with composition, is when you're working on your sketch, another really important thing is be open to change, because in the initial steps of your drawing, like, there's probably going to be a lot of changes. I checked with the person in charge of this comic, and we realized we need more room at the top. Need more room for the title and the text and stuff, and that happens. So it's great to be gung-ho about your idea, but just remember, especially with the cover, formatting and making room for text is going to be very important. So don't be afraid to, you know, get your ideas on paper, but when it comes to the final format, yeah, you're gonna probably have to make some changes, so be okay with that. And I say that all the time. Don't get too married to what you're working on, because it is probably gonna change at least a little bit. And I think that's a big part of being, I don't know, just like a professional level, is, again, just being open to doing multiple iterations of something too. So yeah, just leave room for change, and only when, you know, we're really confident and we're ready to go, then we're gonna go in and do our inks and stuff. So now that I'm watching this back, I'm kind of glad that I did the color composition, because it helped me with the background, actually, because there was a lot, you know, there's buildings fading into the horizon, and I don't know if I would have figured that out if I didn't get like weird with the colors and the color composition, so that kind of informed that. Well guys, we are reaching the end of the video. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, or you just had fun hanging out with me. Thank you for reaching the end of the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Give a like, a subscribe, a comment, whatever you feel so inclined to do. And check out Faster Than Light. I will see about, I don't think we've like started the Kickstarter page for that, but I will update my links as is appropriate. But yeah, thanks again and have a good one.